The first young lady I want to talk about, the first presenter, is a young lady named Miss Darla DeGrande. If you hadn't had coffee, that's okay. You won't need it for Darla, I promise you that. So let's tell you a little bit about Darla. Darla started as an inventor and entrepreneur in the salon industry. Darla became a master trainer for the State Board of Cosmetology, reinventing the hair industry. She became licensed to train hairdressers and received many awards and accolades in the salon industry and the business community. Darla built a total of 5 high-end salons very quickly and had 49 employees, and her salon was listed as one of the top 200 fastest growing salons in the country. In 2008, Darla was introduced to the network marketing business model, and soon she retired from the salon industry. And you're about to find out that she is the master of relationship marketing. Please put your hands together for Miss Darla DeGrande.
She did my hair in the room the other night, did a deep conditioning treatment to it, and it's pretty awesome. I'm excited about it. Because normally I do their hair. We've been traveling to these events for 10 years, and I bring my hair cutting shears and I give them all haircuts every night, one night while we meet at conventions. And this was my turn. So thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
All right, so you guys, it's just ironic. I'm very honored. Cody, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to be on this stage. And Bart, thank you for the beautiful introduction. I was back there with Bart and he was listening to Cody and I could just watch him just losing it. He was just like, oh, takes a lot of work to put these things together. I know how it is. Okay, so it's ironic that I'm standing here on this stage today to talk about mastering the art of human connections, because that's how I got here. And I want to take you through a little bit of my story so you can understand how I got here, so you can connect to it. Raise your hand if you're in this room and you're in the people business. Everybody's hand in this room just went up because we're all in the people business. We're not in network marketing, we're not in insurance, we're not in sales, we're not in motorcycle sports, we're not in the dental industry, we're not in figure skating, whatever. We're all in the people business. That's why we're here. And it's that connection of people that allows us to be able to tap into the riches of relationships. And so I'm going to walk you through how this whole thing came to life and what it has done in my life when I learned to take my eye off the dollar. Okay, and I'm going to teach on that for just a minute. So I'm going to take you back. I'm a high school dropout, like most hairdressers. I didn't do well in school. It wasn't my thing. And for all of you in here that have teenagers that are not doing so well in high school, just hang on. Chances are they're entrepreneurs. They don't fit in the box, is basically what it was. They can't follow rules. They want to make their own rules. And so what do most hairdressers, what do most high school dropout girls do? They go to beauty school. So I went to beauty school. But I didn't become a beauty school dropout. I went to beauty school and I found something that I really liked, and that's where I grew my entrepreneur wings. I was very fortunate as a young girl to have a mentor. Who here in this room has ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? If you have never read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, please read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was that story. I had rich parents and I had poor parents. And my poor parents were not broke parents. My poor parents were great parents. My poor parents just didn't know how to do what the rich parents knew how to do. And these rich parents were mentors to me. And this lady always and the man, they always said to me, don't work for the boss, be the boss. That's all they ever said. Don't work for the boss, be the boss. And so I went out into the hair world and I got my first job and quickly learned that wasn't going to work. If I stayed working in that salon, I was never going to be like the boss. So I went and I started my first salon, and that's where I started my whole entrepreneur journey at a very young age. And so how does a young kid with no money in the bank and no inheritance and nobody to give them any money and no entrepreneur parental guidance go out and become in the top 100 fastest growing salons in the country? How do they do it? Okay, so my mother taught us kids a few principles when we were young, and those were the art of connecting. We were raised as kids where we were set to handwrite thank you cards, and at Christmas time all these cards would come in the mail, and it's just what we did. My mom taught us that. My mom was a very connected person. She's amazing. She's still amazing. My mom's 83 next month. This month. Oh my gosh, are we in August? She's 83 this month. And so I started learning the art of connection at a young age. And as I grew up in the salon industry, I started having a hard time being treated as a professional because I was 19, 20 years old, 21. And here I am owning my first salon, and it was hard to get respect. And then I learned leverage, and I started hiring employees to work for me. And you guys know what leverage is. It's when you get hands working for you. And so as I'm building this leverage, I'm building these employees and I'm training them and I'm growing, but I'm having a hard time getting respect, and I'm having a hard time connecting with these people and getting them to understand me. So I took a leap of faith and I did something that a lot of people don't ever do. And I hired a mentor when I was young. And I learned how to talk from a young age. I learned how to reinvent the words that I used on a daily basis. I learned how to listen. I learned how to understand that people had different opinions and they were okay. Those are their opinions. They're entitled to those opinions. And I'm going to give you guys one cool little example that is going to make you go, wow, it's so true. And when you leave here today, you're going to have a hard time not remembering me for the rest of your life when you see this happen in an airport or a restaurant or in the mall or in a movie theater. Okay? And it's the terrible twos. Does anybody here have a kid that's less than 2 or 3 years old? Raise your hand. Children, grandchildren, less than, you're going to love this, okay? In society, we are brainwashed and taught that things like terrible twos are real. They're not real. I'm going to show you where terrible twos come from. They come from the parents. The parents not knowing how to communicate and connect with their child. I want you to think about when your baby was born. You look that baby in the eye, and this baby's the cutest thing that ever existed, and everyone else is going, that's the ugliest baby, you know? But you just think, oh, she's so precious, you know? It's so cute. You look back at pictures now at your baby when they're little, and they're like, dang, we thought she was cute, you know? But you think, so cute, and the baby gets older and grows up, and, you know, it's, oh, hi, baby. You know, you try and get it to smile. Oh my gosh, hi, you're so cute, mommy loves you, da 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 da. Say mama, daddy's going to say dada. Say mama, say dada. You say mama, said mama first. She said mama first, you know, and then you tell everybody she said mama first, right? And then the baby, you're helping it hold its neck up. You know, you're holding its neck up. Come on, baby, you're propping everything you can imagine to get its neck to hold up, and then finally the neck is, I'm so proud of you. This is all the baby hears. And then the baby starts learning how to set up, and you get it all proud, but now it's going to crawl. And now here you are at 30, whatever age you are when you had your baby. I was an older mom. I'm 52 now. My child's 15. Do the math. So I'm on my stomach at 30, 40 years old. Come on, baby. Come on, Bella. Yes, 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 yes. Right? And you guys, you got one parent there and one parent here, and you're just, come on, get up, get up, get up, come on, get up. You know, and now we learn why they have padded diapers, because the diapers are so they can fall over all the time and not hurt their butt, you know? All right, can you guys agree with me that you all have done this or had it done to you when you were little? You see it happen all the time, right? Okay, so then now you're lifting up the arms and you're encouraging and you're helping and walk, come on, walk, and the knees are getting all strong and tough, and then all of a sudden it walks and you're 2 feet, and then 4 feet, and you're filming it with your phone, 5,000 videos going on Facebook. You took 2 steps today was 4 steps. Oh, look, came to me, look. This is all life is. It's the most amazing thing. This is why they say once you have a child, your entire life changes, because there's nothing but love and joy that happens when you've birthed a child, and you get to go through all these things and back and forth and back and forth. And then it starts to walk, and you've got the hands, and you've got the pinkies, and you're pulling it, and you're leading it, and everything. It's just great. Everything's wonderful. All it's here is, you are awesome. I love you. I'm so proud of you. You make me so happy. I'm the blessed most mommy on the world. Babe, we are so blessed. Would you look at how cute? Grandma, FaceTime was born. Look, Grandma, FaceTime! You know, now Grandma's encouraging, we've got all this encouraging going on, and then one day, the baby wakes up. And all of a sudden, there's a gate and a crate, and there's chairs sideways, and all this kid hears is, no, don't go there. No, don't touch that. Smack! Don't do that. Get back here. That's not for you. No. And it completely throws this child into complete confusion and turmoil. And I'm in restaurants and airports all the time. I'm in a clothing store the other day to buy this cute outfit that I bought. Isn't it cute? And I didn't have to borrow my friend's spikes. I'm all, hey, will you bring me a pair of those things, you know, that you wear every once in a while? Okay. Oh my gosh, where was I? Okay, in the dressing room. And so all I hear is this lady in the other dressing room with her baby. And she's telling it, get over here. Don't touch that. Get down. Be good. Listen to me. If you don't, you're going to be in timeout. Do you want me to leave you out of this? Do you want me to take you out of the store right now? I'll take you out right now and I'll put... And I'm like, oh my gosh. I just want to go be like, lady, I can totally save your life right now if you'll let me just teach you a few things. And so you guys, this is all part of the art of connecting. And if you all know that you put out into the universe what you get back, right? Does everybody believe that? That what you think about grows, what you speak, you get? You know, I have a friend who's speaking on this stage, John Indries, who you're going to hear from in a little bit, and he's like, you know, last year I stood on that stage and I looked out and I said, I don't know how, but somehow next year I'm going to be on a stage. I have another friend who's on a stage. She said the same thing. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to be on a stage sharing my story soon. And I'm like, yes, that's what you got to talk about. And so I teach people how if you would tell your child, this is what I want you to do, baby, you're so awesome. I'm so proud of you that you have done this. This is where mommy goes. You know, people say, use your indoor voice, you know, don't yell inside. It's all part of connecting. I learned all this in a course that I took. So why I say that is because I want you guys to understand that investing in yourself, being here today, is exactly what you need to learn to do. Take away one thing that'll teach you how to be a better connector and a better communicator, and to learn to be a better listener so that you can make connections. Because watch this. For years, I have been manifesting and visualizing what I've learned all my life. You know, you can't understand till you look back and you learn from where you've come from. I'm very grateful of the things that have happened in my life. I have an incredible husband that we have a 23-year relationship, 18 years marriage. Anybody will tell you that our marriage is like just so, it's surreal. It's a fairy tale marriage. This guy's amazing. We're such communicators. He's my third husband. I learned this late. And there's still hope, guys. Just want you to know. Okay? And I'm grateful that I've been married 3 times. Okay? I learned a lot. Each time I did one, I got to learn how to do it a little bit better next time. But I've got it pretty much figured out this time. And I hired him to work for me when he was 21 and I was 30. So do the math on that fun. Okay, so I was always a person that focused so hard on the dollar because I wanted to make millions of dollars. In my salons, when I learned how to connect and talk to teenagers, I was able to rid the terrible teens. I was able to learn to connect people on their level, to listen to people and understand what they're speaking about, to get into their shoes so that you can connect on their level, because we can both be right about the same topic because it's our own opinion. We each own our own opinions. But when you learn to respect other people's opinions is now when you can really tap in to where the riches live. And in the world of advertising, so in my salons, back to my salons, I didn't have any money to advertise. I was this high school dropout who went to beauty school, who got a job, worked for a few months, and made friends with the girl in the salon that I worked with that was the most booked, who had been there the longest, and I convinced her to come. She didn't want to come open a salon with me, so I got us fired, and then she had no choice. So I did. It worked out well, though. And so we went into business, and I said, listen, let's start writing thank you cards to our customers and tell them how much we appreciate we appreciate them. And that was our form of advertising. We would sit and write every customer, thank you for coming to visit, we appreciate you, thank you. And we put little index cards of when their birthday was, and we'd write them birthday cards and send them birthday cards. And I know you gotta appreciate people. Let's just appreciate them, appreciate them. They'll forgive us when they mess up their hair if we appreciate them, you know? It's true. And so here's how I proved it. So then we open up our first salon, and we have no money. We build this whole thing on relationships, bartering, making deals with people that we will do your hair if you'll come do this, you know, and loving on people and appreciating people. 9 years into the journey, I buy my partner out because I want to go big, and I want to open California's Palm Springs first day spa and cater to the wealthy. And she wanted to stay small, which is fine. So I went and took off on this dream. And my mom always says, honey, you always stressed me out. You would have $1 million dream without a penny in the bank. I don't know how you would do it, but by the end of the line, you figured out how to have it done. And you guys, it was because all along the way, I learned how to build relationships with people, okay? And when you learn how to master the art of human connections, you'll tap into the riches of relationships. Who's ever read the book of How to Win Friends and Influence People? Okay? Even if you haven't read it, you know that nothing matters more than relationships, right? Nothing. If you want opportunities to drop at your footsteps and doors to open and friends to come to you and referrals to be passed to you and an abundance of love to be surrounded by you, those are people. And in today's world, most people are withdrawing from how to build relationships, and they're becoming almost hermits and recluses. They don't even know how to carry a conversation. Do you know that there's people out there that have gone weeks, months, and years without a hug, a human touch, or being told I love you or appreciate you? There are. And so when you learn how to make human connections, okay, you tap into these things. So I want you to look at this little video, and I really want you to understand the power of focusing on the heart of all hands. So when you focus on the heart, you guys, you really do master the art of human connections. Take away the sales pitch. Stop focusing on the dollar. Start loving on people. Start passing compliments. Start saying how much you appreciate people. And start saying thank you. They're the most valuable words that are the most underused. Do you agree with me on that? It really is. In the world of business today, people are so good at going out and putting ads in the paper for cold marketing and soliciting and selling to try and attract people in their life. But what they're not doing is building the relationships that allows them to retain them and to get them to go tell all their friends about you. To do that. So in my salon world, when I was building my salons, I said, I gotta send cards. And it wasn't until a few years ago back that I found, I built cards. I'm talking employees in card rooms to be able to send gratitude and appreciation to our employees. I was an apprenticeship to the State Board of Cosmetology. My salon, none of those people went to beauty school. I trained them all myself. Do you want to know how many people's heads we fried, did bad haircuts on, colored wrong, tore them when we were teaching them how to wax, burned their face when we were learning how to do chemical peels and facials, waxed the wrong thing off? So how do you grow to be in the top 200, he said 100 fastest growing salons in the country, to have $100 haircuts for men, $200 haircuts for women, and $500 to get your hair cut and highlighted, and have a waiting list for 6 weeks when you're a school frying people's hair to learn how to do business? How do you do it? Human connections. If you will learn to appreciate people, they want to be a part of everything that you do. They will forgive you. If somebody's thinking about going and doing business somewhere else and they happen to get a card in the mail that says, you know, I really appreciate the value that you play in our life. You know, I really appreciate the time that you give us. I really appreciate. Where's Robin Edwards? Robin Edwards, are you in here? Right on, there she is. Last night she comes bursting into my door and tells me, oh my gosh, my husband just landed the job. And I told her, I says, Robin, go send her husband didn't like his job. He wanted a new job. He'd been at it for 8 years and it was just causing a lot of stress in his life. I says, go tell him to get an interview at his dream job and tell them to appreciate them after the interview. Flood them with love, gratitude, and appreciation. Send them a card and say, thank you. Regardless if you choose me or not, I appreciate that you gave me the time and the opportunity to be considered. Not only did he get the job, they said, name your pay. Yeah. And that is the power of appreciation, because the bigger people get in the business world, the less they're valued and appreciated. And so anyway, I can go on and on for days about that. Okay, so then the salon industry, I got introduced to network marketing back in 2008 when the crash came. Okay, we were doing $3 million a year, 100% debt-free, living in our dream house, catering to all the money in Palm Springs, and here comes the crash. And it just annihilated our clientele, because they were the high-end people, the real estate market and the stock market. They got annihilated. And that's when I got introduced to network marketing. And all I did in network marketing was the same thing I did in the salon world. And so I was able to build a network of 42,000 people in 4.5 years in network marketing all across the country, because I knew how to build relationships. I knew how to make connections. I knew how to meet people where they were at. And so if you are living in a world where you get upset and pissed off and you get triggered a lot, it's not the person that triggers you. You can now today say, I, from this day forward, am never going to let somebody piss me off again. I control who pisses me off. I control who I yell at. I control who I judge. And stop responding and start just listening. Just listen. People don't need to always be told something about, they just want to hear. Just listen and let the universe work its magic. Okay, I would not be standing on this stage today had I not have learned how to master the art of human connections to build what attracts. It's what attracts. And so back to my 3 years ago story, I heard about this system, send out cards, Cody's, and I added it as a tool into my life. I added it as a tool in my life so that I could show appreciation and gratitude to people, and I'm going to tell you how it happened. You know, I just wanted a way to make connections, because I knew if I stopped focusing here, start focusing here, that it would trigger the riches of relationships. And you guys, beyond money is relationships. Stop focusing. We do it all the time. I was a business person. Got to make money. Got to make payroll. My payroll was $55,000 every 2 weeks. I was focused on money. But it seemed to all work out a little bit differently when I was able to take it from the head to the heart with a tool. That's all it is I added a tool that allowed me to be able to do things differently, to be able to touch a stranger, to every day do a random act of kindness. Every day, do a random act of kindness and touch somebody that you don't know, somebody that you, a mother of a friend. Just say I love you. Just say I love your friend. I appreciate your friend. Those are the things that are going to be able to tap into the riches. That's where your referrals come from. That's where your opportunities, that's where your invites. Hey, we want you to come with us on this cruise. We have 2 extra passes. Would you guys like to come? Heck yeah. Hey, I have these extra VIP tickets for Lakers game. We can't make it. Would you like them? Heck yeah. Those are the riches of relationships. Those are the things that are more than money that you can't put a price on. And so, with your children, how to build more love in your spouse, how to get your teenager to do things that they may not do, reward them, connect with them. When your kid, when you never clean up your room, stop saying the word never. You always stop saying the word always. Remove it from your vocabulary. Yeah, but remove it from your vocabulary. You just remove it from your vocabulary. Don't use those words, because those are controversial words. And when you tell your kid you never, they say, yes, I do. I do. I do all the time. When you tell your employees you always, and it's something negative, they're like, no, I don't. I was just here. You know, start speaking factual. Start using words that are not exaggerative, if that makes sense. Okay, indefinites, I think they call them. I think they're called indefinites. And you will start noticing when you reward people for what they did. Hey, thanks so much for doing the dishes last night before you went to bed. I really appreciate that. You're going to get more dishes. When you say, you never do the dishes, or I'm always doing the dishes, you're going to keep doing the dishes, and you're always going to be doing the dishes. Okay? Start using words. If you want to get more love out of the one you love, start complimenting the things that they do. Start leaving a little note that says, I really appreciate that you made the bed this morning. That totally made my morning bright. You know, something like that. They're going to make the bed more often. Start telling people, rewarding and complimenting on areas and things in places and spaces. When you, I'm going to give you another example. I had to go to DMV to get my license last month. Okay, I had to do one of those walk-in last-minute appointment things. You already know how this story's going, right? And so I'm like, okay, I got this. This is going to be the best DMV appointment I've ever gone to. Everything's going to work out just perfectly. And so I go walking up, and there's two other people walking this side and this side. Okay, and I'm walking up, and I said good morning to both of them. They said, good morning, good morning. And so I'm aware of what's happening. And this person walks up, and then the line, you see the line wrapping around the building, and this person goes, I don't have time for this today. Turns around and leaves. Rolls the eyes and leaves, right? And the other person comes up, and you can tell he's a little frustrated, and we come up, and I go up to the line, and we get up to the line right quick, and it's to get one of those new licenses where you have to have everything, including your DNA swab sample, in order to get the new license, you know? And so, and my husband, he's always getting me organized. You need this, this, this. He's got everything, right? And so I go up to the front of the line, and I say, hi, I'm here to get the license thing. And they go through all your stuff, and she's like, you need one other form of proof of address. And I'm like, oh, gosh, okay. And I said to her, I said, I only live 6 minutes away. Is it possible if I went home real quick and came back that I could still make this appointment? Because my appointment was in 2 minutes. And she and I said, please. And I always like to do this, please. And she's like, all right, go ahead, just come back and see me. And then, so I go and I come back and I come back and I come up to the front of the line, and the ladies have changed things. And I said, hi, that lady, hi. And she looks at the lady and she's all, let her go in. Okay? And so while I'm in there, I noticed the other person that had got in is arguing with the person at the front, having this really difficult time, throws a fit and leaves. And so I keep going in, and I'm like, hey, how is your day going? You know, and I'm just like being really positive. I'm like, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to tell you that you're awesome, and I'm going to put a smile on your face, you know, and I just made sure all along the way. And do you know that by the time I got to the picture person, that person was watching and says, you are amazing. We need more people coming in here like you. And I got everything that I wanted in and out. The other person didn't even attempt it. And you guys, what this is called is vibration. I had the very honor, privilege to be a student of Bob Proctor many years ago, because I was in one of his companies, and he was one of our mentors and trainers. And I remember sitting over there in a room, and Bob said, I can read vibration. I can tell who's in a bad mood. I can tell who's in a good mood. I said, I can tell who's here to receive. I can tell who's here on fire, who's attracting. I can see. And I was like, and I'd look over and I'm like, no, I don't see anything, you know? Couldn't see a thing. And you guys, it's real. It happens. When you learn how to raise your vibration, and you learn how to, when I say get above the line, do you guys know what I'm talking about? There's a line. Down here is where depression lives, and where you attract all the negativity, because it's all you can see. You know, you think about a forest and you see all what's down on the bottom, the muck and the catfish and the worms and the snakes and the bleh, right? But if you're above the line, you don't even see this stuff. And you get your vibration high, you become in an attractive state. So once you get yourself in an attractive state, you start attracting. And you start attracting the abundance of life. And you start realizing, wow, people are coming to me for business. And people are just so nice every day. And you start realizing, my 24 hours of my day is spent all in positivity and abundant state. I haven't had stress in my life in so long. When you learn how to raise your vibration, raise it up, give compliments, don't gossip, don't let negativity attract you towards it, and you will attract positivity into your life. I promise you. Do it today as you go out. Compliment someone on their shoes. Compliment someone on their glasses. Compliment someone on their hair. Notice somebody's nails and give them a compliment on their nails. And watch what happens. And when somebody compliments you on something, don't say, oh, this old thing, or, oh, well, I like yours too. No, say, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. And start hugging instead of shaking hands. Start hugging and start tapping into the emotions of people. All right, everyone, it's an absolute honor to be up here in front of you today. Here's my information if you ever want to get a hold of me. I want you all to be able to leave this room in a vibrational frequency state, and I want you to learn that if you'll focus more on loving people, appreciating people, attracting people, complimenting people, you will not have to focus on where your next dollars are going to come from, where your next door is going to open from, and where your next event is going to take you. I promise you. Start mastering the art of human connections. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.